How y'all doing? Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. It's Kaiser. Got some news for you. I am going to do this one. I'm recording this ahead of time, so just making sure you all kind of know that, yeah, I, I'm recording this tonight. It's still the 27th, but you all see this tomorrow morning on the 28th. So, a couple of things have happened in the last few hours that have just really part of the reason why I had to make this why I had to make this video. This is actually kind of funny to me. So a few things happened. First and foremost is that, well, it's not something I ever really intended on doing in any way, shape, or form. But so I had an interesting comment that popped up on my comment section, and I had to just screen cap this because it's just kind of epic in just how much it completely misses the mark and how much the shills just don't want to listen to anybody with any kind of opinion that is different than theirs. It's hysterical. So let's bring this up, and just to make sure everybody is completely clear on this, I have very specifically cut out the person's, avatar, their name, etc. So just making sure that this doesn't show up on there. And actually, after I finish this video, I'm actually going to hide the comment so that way nobody gets any funny ideas about going down and trying to track anybody, because I don't want that. Do not do that under any circumstances. I do not want that to happen to anybody. I don't care if they call me names or if they, disagree with me. That's fine. People are actually just fine to do so. We have this thing we call discourse, but I had to just laugh at this. It's kind of amazing. Oh, excuse me. I was trying to hit my mute button, but it's not working for the moment. Anyway, here's the comment. This is hilarious. I'm going to try and blow that up so you can see it. So this was funny. It says, I hate Kathy Kennedy and women. The alt-right rabbit hole says, lol. These guys have too much, time on their hands. And it's the sweating, laughing emoji twice. I'm like, okay. So apparently, because I think that Kathleen Kennedy has horribly mismanaged this property, and I don't particularly like what she's doing to the franchises that she is in charge of, somehow, apparently, that has somebody has deemed that worthy of considering me to be of a not so good political persuasion. Now, to be completely honest with you guys, I never really cared to actually get involved in politics or bring my politics to the channel. If you want to know my politics, then I'm just not going to go out there and go yakking about it. It's just not really my thing. This channel's for about entertainment and media news. So that's kind of what it is. So the idea here that someone would consider me to be of the him persuasion is patently laughable, considering the fact that I think both the right and the left are equally useless. But, folks have got to shill about something, because certainly the current situation at Lucasfilm, well, let's just be honest, it's insane. Because only a few hours after, so about 4 hours after I had put in the video about the story of, the current projections for Indy 5, that's whenever that comment came in, and that's when, not long after this dropped, Kathleen Kennedy says new films will move Star Wars past George Lucas's original vision, will introduce new characters, and start with something fresh. Oh, Disney and Kathleen Kennedy.
Sheer fucking hubris.
You know, I've been saying it for a long time now. I've been saying this for a long time. And the thing is, you don't have to dig very far to find other people that share this particular, what's the word I'm looking for? Understanding the situation. Well, this came out recently on Twitter, and I absolutely love it because it's perfectly encapsulates everything. So this one says, honestly, I didn't think she could pull it off. I didn't think Bob Iger would let her. But here we are 10 years later, and she's done it. Kathleen Kennedy has replaced every one of George Lucas's white male protagonists with a brunette woman. Just like her. Yeah. So, replaced Han Solo with Rey. We replaced Luke Skywalker with Rey. Replaced Willow with this person who's so bland I can't even remember the character's name. And we've replaced Indy with Phoebe Waller-Bridge. See, the thing is that you don't have to look very far to actually find this information. If you do your research and you actually pay attention, instead of just being spoon-fed the shill media, you might notice things like this. You might notice that you're being lied to, and that they're giving you subpar, crappy, mediocre products in exchange for your hard-earned dollar, as opposed to actually making some good and interesting stuff. Another so another thing to kind of point out in this is that, you know, how much Kathleen Kennedy does not understand the very property that she's working with. Let's watch this quick little video here. So this is actually George Lucas talking about Star Wars and what Star Wars really is.
It's about good and evil in us, as well as our institutions. So, and the idea that some of us think we're really great people, but in the real world we're not. We're terrible people.
Or you can make bad choices.
Well, you make bad choices, but you run your life in a very selfish way, and you think you're doing good when you're actually not. And at the same time, it's you know, how do democracies turn back into dictatorship? Why do people who have the power to have the freedom turn it over to somebody who's going to take it all away from them? It's happened through history forever and ever, and all Star Wars is a way of updating that idea to say, watch out, because there are people out there who don't play by the rules, and if you're not careful, you're going to lose all your freedom. And at the same time, those people who may not play by the rules, because they're selfish and greedy, turn themselves into evil people who don't care about other people.
There you go.
You know, look how flippant she is about that, and then just that laugh. Let me grab that back
Other
here.
people.
There you go.
She doesn't actually care. She doesn't listen. She doesn't understand the power that she has. She doesn't understand the property. Well, then her mismanagement goes even worse whenever you consider this recent story. So this was a little while back. This is March, but it's nonetheless poignant at this time. Lucasfilm sued for egregious axing of producer Karen McCarthy from Star Wars series The Acolyte, which, again, mixed reports and rumors right now that The Acolyte might be soft canceled. Recently saw a video just come out today from Overlord DVD mentioning that apparently the series is over $300 million and they're still not done with it. apparently it's under the under the auspices of Leslie Headland, who, if you've been paying attention to the rumor mill, has apparently been being, let's say, can't use the word, let's just say, being prepared to possibly take over after Kennedy retires. It's a rumor. Take it with a grain of salt, but it's out there. And, of course, can't forget this gem. We go from Star Wars to Indiana Jones. Yep. When she said that this was possible, we knew it was going to happen. Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy says it's entirely possible for Phoebe Waller-Bridge to take over Indiana Jones franchise. And let's not forget what they did in this one. So the plot leaks show that Phoebe Waller-Bridge, after being a absolutely, from all the early reviews, apparently a very unlikable, selfish, and just utterly sarcastically bad character the entire movie, decides to upstage Indy in the final act of this movie. And Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character makes the heroic choice to knock out Indiana Jones and protect history, thus overthrowing our hero. It's no surprise whenever you see all this and you consider that this article that came out in Fortune near the beginning of June, the Force has left Lucasfilm. So even Fortune magazine is saying that this is an absolute disaster. They knew ahead of time Indy 5 looks bad. We saw it at Cannes. We knew that it was bad then. The premiere showed it to be just as bad, if not worse, than we had feared. Now here we are, literally days from its release, and the media is in full spin mode because currently this movie is only tracking for a $60 to $70 million debut. And if this ends up being the case, this movie's done. If this movie does not break that 60 to 70 million mark, if this movie doesn't make 100 million in its first week, it's done. Even if it's 100 million, it's gonna be an uphill battle. But yeah, if it cannot even make these numbers, it's completely done. I mean, we've already seen what they're doing to The Flash. Apparently, The Flash is being pushed out onto streaming within the next couple of weeks. Yeah. Apparently, it's so bad, and it's flopped so hard in theaters, that the theaters themselves are like, yeah, we're getting rid of showtimes for this so we can show other things because it's just not making money for us. So, yeah, they announced today that it's going to be moving to streaming. Unrelated, but important nonetheless. So I think it's very clear that we know exactly why Star Wars under Kathleen Kennedy's vision has failed. She's out of touch with the fans. She wants to push her own agendas. She doesn't care about the lore, the backstories, or any of the established characters. She wants to push her own messaging. She wants to push her own view of things. But more than that, she wants to get rid of all the heroes made most famous by the people that helped bring her up through the industry. She is literally biting the hand that fed her. That's why I have a problem with the current situation within Lucasfilm under the leadership of Kathleen Kennedy. Look, it's not that it's just like a all women problem. It's Kathleen Kennedy. And Kennedy has hired a lot of other ones, that believe the same things as her and like to do things the same way that she does them, and likes to bait fans, likes to absolutely just dunk on the fans because she feels like she doesn't need the fans. And you know what? I still have the original trilogy of Star Wars. I have the original theatrical cuts as well. And you know what? If that's all I have of Star Wars, if that's all I have of Indiana Jones and Willow, you know what? That's fine. If I have the originals, I'm fine. They're already out there, and so they will always exist. You can't get rid of them. As they say in that show, you can't stop the signal, Mal. But you know, we all know what type of person Kathleen Kennedy is. But don't just take my word for it. Listen to this, because it's pretty on the nose.
You see this all the time at the level of a top producer who, between them or separately, will make flop after flop after flop after flop. I'm not going to name them, but I know who they are. And they're not all American either. And they still get paid huge sums of money for being in films that nobody wants to see. And producers make pictures out of which they take enormous sums of money. And the films, again, are not films people want to see. They're always going to blame somebody else. Always. Not their fault. No, you were the one who said, or whatever. And there's a word for that. It's called upward failure. You see it all the time. You see this all the time at the level of a top producer.
Yep. Christopher Lee. The man, the GOAT. Is it any wonder when we see things like this that we kind of know what this is all about? We kind of knew that this was her goal from the get-go. She decided, specifically Kathleen Kennedy decided that she wanted to destroy George Lucas's legacy and turn it into her own. And eventually she wanted to make things, in her mind, they're better than anything Lucas ever produced. To the fans and the people that actually enjoyed those stories, enjoyed the content, enjoyed the classic hero's journey in a new telling. She can't understand that. She can't wrap her mind around it. And for that, she will continue to fail. That's why we see her doing this right now. The box office projections for Indy 5 just hit today. So, it's now looking like that $60 to $70 million mark for Indy opening weekend is pretty solid. Now she's scrambling because she knows that this movie is going to flop. And apparently she's already in deep trouble with Bob Iger about just the fact that her office has produced flop after flop after flop. And so what better way to make sure that you don't get shown the door than to go ahead and have new projects already in the works that require your undivided attention. So it's what we saw with Star Wars Celebration 2023. We were told that this was going to be a way to kind of gracefully show Kathleen the exit. She was going to be given a grand send-off, and then she was going to retire. And what does she do instead? She announces multiple new projects, multiple new series, all this stuff at the same time that Disney is hemorrhaging money. And now this. the day that we find out that Indy 5, which is basically, as we've been told time and again, with Iger is going to be, if it's not profitable, it's going to be the straw that broke the camel's back. Interesting that she announces this new details about this supposed, because up to now it's just been a supposed one sentence, blurb concept on a draft sheet somewhere. That's what we've seen from it. It was, the first time we saw anything about this supposed Rey movie, it was in the trades. It was just like a one sentence mention. Now, suddenly, she's got a direction, a focus, a goal, and wants to introduce new characters and start something fresh. I imagine she does. Because she realizes that her legacy is crap. And people despise the products that she's put out because she's used her platform instead of as a way to entertain people and tell good stories. She's used it as a vehicle for her own selfish politics, self-insertion into the fandom. And she's used it as a way to basically flip the finger to the fans and say that I'm better than you. Sorry, KK. Fans are what made Star Wars what it is. Without us, Star Wars is nothing. And as above, so below. If you decide that you're going to make your platform about just absolutely destroying the fan base and getting rid of us, then we'll just take what we have, what we already love, and we'll go away. And, well, that is what it is.
You have paid the price for your lack of vision.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for holding on this long. I know I went off into a bit of a different territory than usual, but I thought it was important to make this video. Thank you so much for watching, especially to this point. If you're new here, please definitely hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. We got plenty of new content planned out. And, hey, if you're already a subscriber or you're already somebody who's familiar with my work, definitely check to make sure you're still subscribed. YouTube has been doing some funny shenanigans with unsubscribing people. Can't imagine why. So definitely go down there. Make sure that you hit that like button. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And I will see you all on the next video. Peace.